Today I'm going to replace the fan clutch on my 1995 Chevrolet Suburban. This is a 3/4 ton, the K2500, and it's the heavy duty with the tow package. So the fan clutch is a little beefier than a lot of Chevrolets, but this process is pretty similar throughout the 90s and late 80s for replacing this on any Chevrolet truck. You only need a few tools. You need a socket wrench, 10mm socket, and a 13mm socket to remove the fan clutch itself. I have never done this before, so let's see if we can't figure out how to do this. So the first thing I need to do is remove this fan shroud because it's going to be difficult to get anything down there off with that in the way. You can see the fan in behind it. And it looks like there is, what, 1, 2, 3 bolts at the top. And on each side there's a couple of bolts on a flange down there. There's one down there and there's one back over here. And the same thing on this side. So we're going to use a 10mm wrench and remove the fan shroud. Oh, I do have to get these wires out of the way, and it looks like it's held with a little wire clip here. So I got to figure out how to do that. I can remove this wire by popping this clip open, and it looks like I can do that with a screwdriver here. There we go. And just get these out of the way. And lay that back over there. All right. Oh, stay there. Using my 10mm socket, I'm going to remove these bolts at the top. Then I'm going to put an extension on my socket wrench and reach down and remove the bolts on the flange. There's one. Another one. Now I notice there's a couple of little tubes that are clipped to the face, or the back side I should say, of this fan shroud. Let's see, this I can pop open with a screwdriver, like that. So you see this little tube from the evaporative canister goes to a clamp that's holding it right here. It looks like I can squeeze the prongs on the back side here and just pop that out. So I'm just going to reach in here with a pair of pliers and squeeze those little prongs together. It's hard to see what I'm doing here. There we go. Then I should be able just to lift this out of the way. Yeah, good. Now I have clear access to the entire fan and the clutch mechanism. The mounting for the fan clutch is right there, right here. These are 13mm nuts. And it looks like I cannot get the socket wrench in there. So I am going to have to use a box wrench to get onto those nuts. Oh, and that's pretty tough. All right. Let's see, how are we going to do that? I think if I get a mallet and tap that. Oh, there, that one's turning. There we go. That is turning. Okay. I'll get each one loose here first. See, it's a little bit of a reach to get in here, but it's not too bad. Get that one loose. And the bottom one over here. There we go. Now I just got to spin those off, which will take a couple of minutes. Okay, this should come off of there now. There we go. And that's it. So now I've got to remove these 4 bolts to take my fan blades off of the clutch body. So one thing I'm noticing here is that you can see these fan blades are not evenly spaced around the circumference of that clutch. These two are closer together. I don't really know the reasoning in that, but I've noticed a little red mark that has been placed on the fan clutch here. And that seems to be aligned with these 2 blades. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with the balance of this whole thing. The new fan clutch here doesn't have any kind of marking that I can find around it to show that same kind of alignment. I think what I'll do is I'll align this spring and the spring tab sort of in the same orientation, and then put the blades on this one in that. That's the only thing I feel like I've got to go by here. So I'm going to remove these 4 bolts with a 13mm socket. There it goes. Now, I noted the alignment of these blades with that red mark under here. And on the new fan clutch, I put a piece of blue tape in that same alignment so that I can just put this down over, and that would be here to match those bolt patterns right there. That's as close as it's going to get. And the bolts line up, and we will just secure those blades this way. There's probably a torque rating for these bolts, but I'm not too worried about that. There we go. All right, we're mounted to our new clutch. Now we just have to reinstall this on the front of the engine. Reinstalling this looks pretty simple. It's just reversing the disassembly order. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You don't really need to see that because you saw how I took it apart. Okay, what I'm doing is just running the engine to make sure everything looks proper, that there's nothing like wiggling or out of alignment. Seems to be fine. Now I can go ahead and put my shroud back over this. Now that I know that everything is running smoothly, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall my shroud. And this is just like the fan clutch itself. It's simply a reversal of the removal steps. Pretty simple. Close the little clamp on there. And I should be good to go. I'm going to clean up a little bit and take this out for a test drive.